Hey guys, welcome to the channel. As you see in the thumbnail, what if Issei becomes a master of Office Part 3. Before I start, please do support for more awesome content and subscribe my channel and like this video, and also go support the Wandering Boy for writing that awesome fanfic. Let's start this video. Brother, we have to stop them, we have to go now, said Azazel. I agree, we are going now, get everyone ready to fight, said Michael as he stood up. Right, said everyone as they went and quickly gathered their forces to stop the church. Guo Academy. I can't believe what the church is doing, even if they are supposed to be evil. This is too much of fuck, I'm going to puke, said the TV reporter as one of the devil prisoners were slowly split in half. You see, this is what happens to people that defy us, you will all be our slaves, ahahaha. Screamed the most highly dressed Catholic in Crusader style gear. All around the world people were terrified at what they were watching and wished they could do something to help them. The whole world was silent until. Stop this at once, screamed Michael as multiple teleportation symbols appeared numbering in the millions. Well, if it isn't the Archangel Michael who has made peace with his sworn enemies, you are a betrayer of God, said the highly decorated Crusader. I am no betrayer, you are, you have killed millions of people that didn't do anything wrong, you will stop this at once, said Michael. Haha, you think well we'll listen to you, you're wrong, screamed the highly decorated Crusader. Michael, they aren't going to listen anymore, we have to attack them, said Issei floating next to Michael. Oh, look, the Devil King Surzich Lucifer, said the same Crusader. Wrong, that would be my older brother, said Issei. Surzich never had a younger brother, what are you talking, all he had was that bitch of a younger sister, said the Crusader. What did you call my sister? Screamed Issei. Oh, shit, he shouldn't have said that, said Surzich. I called her a bitch, said the Crusader. Oh, you really shouldn't have said that, said Issei darkly as he flew down and pulled out a crimson gun. Haha, go on then, pull the trigger, then I'll kill this stupid girl as well, said the Crusader as he grabbed Murayama. Issei, help me, screamed Murayama. Murayama, I can tell you don't want to die tonight, do you want to come with me? Said Issei as he aimed his gun at them. Aye, said Murayama. I can't force you on this, Murayama, you have to make the choice, said Issei. Yes, said Murayama as she shut her eyes. Wait, hold on a sec, said the Crusader as Issei pulled the trigger, shooting them both in the heart. I'm sorry that had to happen, Murayama. I, Issei Grimmery, call to you. Murayama, allow your soul to descend to this earth once more. Rejoice with your new life. Now be reborn as my servant, Murayama, said Issei as he knelt down and placed 8 pawn pieces on her chest. Murayama, is she alive, Issei? Screamed Caddis as she came running over. She is alive but will be asleep for a while while her body heals fully, said Issei. Kuroka, take them both to a safe place. Will we deal with them? Yes, Issei. Naya, hold still, Caddis, said Kuroka as a teleportation circle appeared under them. Said Caddis as they disappeared. You monster, you. I'm no monster, you lot are using innocent humans as shields to stop yourself from getting killed, said Issei. Why, you, I'll kill you, said the Crusader. You, I'm not going to waste my time on you, and besides, there is a lot of people that want to kill you now, said Issei as he flew back up to Riaz. Thank you, Issei, said Riaz as she kissed him. No problem, honey, said Issei. Now anyway, I am giving you this last chance to surrender and face a trial for the crimes you have committed, said Michael as he turned to face the Catholic Crusaders. Here's our response, all angels attack, said the Crusaders as they got their artificial angels to attack them. Well then, do you mind if I say it? Asked Issei. Go on then, said Surzich. Thank you, brother, all forces attack, said Issei as he raised Ascalon and pointed it at the Crusaders. As soon as Issei pointed his sword at the Crusaders, the combined forces of angels, fallen angels and devils started attacking. The artificial angels that the Crusaders made weren't very strong and were taken out very quickly and only managed to kill around 10 of the combined forces of angels, fallen angels and devils, and wounding a few. The few humans were hurt from stray shoots and by the Crusaders trying to use them as shields. Time skip, end of battle. They weren't strong at all. How many people have been hurt or injured, said Issei. We have lost 10 of our forces and some of our forces and some humans have been injured and Asia is healing them right now, said Michael. Why did they have to do this right now? I was having with Zenobia and Irina, said Issei. I'm not surprised, I guess the custom gear didn't work, said Michael. No, I took it off so you can try it with another angel and you can have this back, said Irina as she landed. Okay, well, we can figure this out later, said Michael as Irina passed the necklace and her brave saint card. Issei, can you please explain what the hell just happened? Asked the Kuo Academy students as they walked up to Issei, Irina and Michael. What is there to explain, and besides you should be asking Michael that sort of thing, said Issei. Hey, that's not very nice, Issei, to dump it on me, said Michael. I'm not a faction leader and besides this has more to do with you than me, said Issei. He has a point, Michael, the only thing this has to do with Issei is that is in his territory, said Surzich as he landed with Riaz and the others. Fair enough, said Michael. Issei, do you feel that? Asked Ophis as she landed with Riaz and everyone else. Yes, I do, said Issei as a portal opened to the dimensional gap. It can't be, said Surzich. Who is it? Asked a TV reporter that came up. Great Red, said Riaz as Great Red as he came through the portal. Well look who it is, Ophis the infinite dragon god, boomed Great Red. Hello Great Red, it's been some time, said Ophis. It has now returned to my side, you belong to me, dragon gods only mate with dragon gods, boomed Great Red. No, you treated me as nothing but a thing to have with. I have found a person that loves me, not just a person to have with, said Ophis as she hugged Issei's arm. Wow, things are getting even weirder. First we find out that the supernatural are real, and now the two dragon gods are here, said the TV reporter. Haha, the Red Dragon Emperor loves you, don't make me laugh. How can anyone love you? You are nothingness, that's all you are and will ever be, boomed Great Red laughing. Hey, don't insult my Ophis, said Issei as he flew up to Great Red. Haha, your Ophis. My Ophis, you will give her to me, you will obey the alpha male of dragonkind or die, boomed Great Red. You're not the only alpha male dragon, said Issei as he spread his two dragon wings. What the how the hell are you, a dragon god? Only a few weeks ago you were weak, how did you do this? Boomed Great Red. It's thanks to Ophis, now leave before I make you, said Issei flaring his aura. Had I, said Great Red as he breathed fire at Issei. You fine, at least this will make me use some of my power. Ophis, can you put a barrier so we don't kill everyone? Asked Issei as he deflected Great Red's fire with ease. Of course my Issei, said Ophis as she put up a barrier. Well then bring it on Great Red, said Issei as he turned into his dragon god form and spread his wings. Oh, so you're challenging me, then bring it on, boomed Great Red as both started flying around exchanging blows. He's challenging him to what exactly? Asked the TV reporter to Ophis. To the male alpha position of our kind, there can only be one male and female alpha of our kind. The loser's fate is left up to the winner, said Ophis as Issei cut off Great Red's arm. Erg, why won't my arm regenerate? Asked Great Red as he landed. Because of the pain. It won't regenerate because I use dragon slaying magic from the holy sword Ascalon, said Issei as his claws glowed yellow while dripping blood. How can that hurt me? It would take Samuel's blood to do anything to me. How is this possible? Screamed Great Red. True, it would take Samuel's blood to affect us, so I boosted the effectiveness of the dragon slaying properties, so it could even damage dragon gods, said Issei. You, well, I'll just regenerate it later when I fuck you girls and turn them into mind-broken slaves for me to fuck, said Great Red as he got up. That was not a good idea to say, said Ophis. Why's that? Asked a TV reporter. To say that to a dragon is one of the worst thing to say because our kind is very territorial, and I mean territorial over their friends and mates, and with it being Issei, he is more territorial than most dragons, said Ophis as she reinforced the barrier. Oh, this won't be good, said the TV reporter. You know what, I was going to let you live after I defeated you, but no, I'm going to kill you, said Issei darkly as he walks over to Great Red, breaking the ground every time he stepped until he was only a few feet away from Great Red. You think you have won? I am immortal, you can't beat me. Look, you already have accepted your fate, said Great Red as Issei turned into his human form. You think just because I turned back into my human form I would surrender? You're wrong, it just makes what I'm about to do easier, said Issei. Oh, what's that arg, you son of a bitch? Screamed Great Red as Issei disappeared, and a few seconds later Great Red's legs, arm and wings were cut off and hit the ground with a loud thud. I will never give up to the likes of you, now die, said Issei as he appeared in front of Great Red and stabbed him through the heart. Fuck you, said Great Red weakly as he slowly started disappearing until there was nothing left of him. Issei, said Riaz happily as she ran and kissed Issei, making him fall onto the ground. Riaz, said Issei as he picked them off the floor. Quite a nice display, Issei, said Surzich as he walked over with Azazel and Michael. Indeed, said Azazel. Well, now we can go home, said Issei. If you don't mind me asking, what did you do to that girl? Asked a TV reporter. I turn her into a devil after I shoot her. She is alive, but she will be asleep for a while, her body heals, said Issei. Oh okay, said the TV reporter. Now I'll see you later, said Issei as a teleportation circle appeared under Issei and the others. What a sec, Issei as Issei disappeared. Well then, now we have to deal with more paperwork since those stupid crusaders decided to do this, said Surzich. You agreed. Well, where do we start, said Michael as everyone started repairing the damages done by the fighting and then started talking to the humans about everything they needed to know. Time skip a few days. Midday. Do you think we should be doing this? Asked a TV reporter walking to Issei's house. Yeah, they might not like us coming to their place without saying anything, said a female. Yeah, and didn't Ophis say dragons are very territorial, said a female. Guys, we're here, said the first person as they appeared outside Issei's house. Enoch, said one. No, you, said another. I didn't know we were getting guests, said Akeno as she appeared with Kuroka and Kaneko carrying shopping, scaring them. Akeno, Naya, it's no nice to scare them, Naya, said Kaneko. What's the harm, Kaneko? Anyway, why don't you come in, said Akeno as they went to the door. Are you sure? Asked a male. Sure, come in, Naya, said Kaneko. Inside living room. Issei, we're back and we found some people that would like to talk to us, said Akeno as they came into the living room. TV reporters, so what do you want to talk about? Asked Issei as he was sitting on the couch with Riaz and Ophis cuddling him. Well, after what happened a few days ago, people are interested about you and the rest of your world, said the TV reporter. I don't mind answering a few questions, said Issei. Issei and the others went on to answer some questions for a few days after that. Fucking hell. When I said we would answer some questions, I didn't think it would take a whole fucking week. Sighed Issei as he slumped onto the sofa. I agree, Issei. Would you like some dragon fire apple wine? Asked Ravel. Yes, thank you, Ravel, said Issei. Would you like some yourself? As a glass was passed to him. I'm underage, Issei, said Ravel, and this is a gift from Tannen as congratulations for becoming an alpha dragon. A little won't hurt, and besides this brand helps anyone that uses fire, said Issei taking a sip. Fine, sighed Ravel as she poured herself a drink. Brother, Azazel and Michael want to hold the peace talks with the humans here, said Issei. Kuo is a hot stop for this sort of stuff, said Ravel taking a sip. That's nice. Yeah, it's good for any person that uses fire magic, but for dragons it's the best thing in the world, said Issei. Yeah, it's great. Issei, can I ask you something? Asked Ravel fidgeting. Sure, what is it? Asked Issei. Can we do it? Not like last time when you were in heat, asked Ravel blushing. Ravel, if that's what you want, then let's head to my room, said Issei as he took Ravel in a loving kiss. Issei, please, moaned Ravel, parting from the kiss. Then what kind of man am I to deny you, said Issei as he transported them to his room. Issei Sama, let me please you, said Ravel as she undressed herself and started undressing Issei. It's been a long time since you called me that. What made you call me that all of a sudden? Asked Issei, surprised that Ravel called him master. Because I belong to you, Issei Sama. I am but your slave, said Ravel. Ravel, the signing to say that you were my slave was just to shut up the devil council. I would never consider you my slave, said Issei as he kissed Ravel, not out of lust but of love. Really, do you mean it? Asked Ravel, looking into Issei's eyes as a girl deeply in love with him, not a slave, as she started crying. Yes, Ravel, I can never look at a girl as a slave, said Issei as he wiped away Ravel's tears, and especially a lovely girl like yourself. Thank you, Issei, said Ravel happily as she kissed Issei again. But please, Issei Sama, let me do this, as she started to undress him. Well, if that's what you want, then be a good girl and please your master, and I might be kind enough to give you some pleasure in return, said Issei in a commanding tone. Since Ravel wanted to do slave play, so Issei decided to play along. Yes, Issei Sama, moaned Ravel as she undressed herself and started using her hands to stroke Issei's semi-hard. Very good, Ravel, but now I want you to use that lovely little mouth of yours, commanded Issei as he grabbed Ravel's chin with his left hand. Yes, Issei Sama, let my slutty mouth please you, moaned Ravel as Issei let go of her chin. Good girl, Ravel, moaned Issei as Ravel started sucking on his tip while he started play with her lips. Issei Sama, moaned a muffled Ravel as Issei inserted two of his fingers into her. Haha, your love's having its master's fingers in it, doesn't it, teased Issei as he teased Ravel's clit with his thumb, making Ravel stop giving him the blowjob as she yelled in surprise. Issei Sama, if you do that I'll too, quickly screamed Ravel as Issei didn't stop teasing her clit. Is my little phoenix going to, are you going to on your master's hand? Asked Issei as he continued to keep playing with her. Yes, master, your phoenix is going to, screamed Ravel, being kept from her release. That's not the correct way to ask your master to, is it? Teased Issei as he stopped playing with her and grabbed her right tit just enough to hurt. I'm sorry, master, please let this looty phoenix, screamed Ravel. That's a good girl, said Issei, waiting for Ravel to respond. Thank you, Issei Sama, screamed Ravel in surprise as Issei grabbed her and lifted her up. But you're not coming until I now start moving, commanded Issei as he pushed himself into Ravel's. Yes, Issei Sama, let my slutty please you, screamed Ravel as she started moving on Issei's. Your body is starting to grow nicely, don't you agree, said Issei as he grabbed Ravel's breasts and started tweaking her nipples. It's because you play with them so much, Issei Sama, they're growing to match your liking, moaned Ravel. Haha, true, but they'll be getting bigger since you will be giving birth in a few months. So, I can't fuck you too hard or it could hurt my kid, and not forgetting my lovely phoenix, said Issei as he gently rubbed Ravel's stomach. Issei Sama, said Ravel happily as she kissed Issei. Are you ready, Ravel? Are you ready to finally and receive your masters, asked Issei. Yes, please, Issei Sama, let this litty phoenix, moaned Ravel as Issei brought her into another kiss. Then go ahead, my lovely phoenix, moaned Issei in the kiss as he started. A few minutes later, it looks like Ravel couldn't keep going, Issei said, Drake, laughing at Ravel who had passed out. True, well, she is one of the younger girls, so I don't blame her. Plus, she's cute like this. I'll clean this up and let her sleep, said Issei as he used magic to clean up, then later to sleep, giving her a light kiss on the lips, which even asleep Ravel moaned her displeasure as Issei's phone buzzed. Do you want to become my second bishop and Amanda wants to become my second knight? Asked Issei as he answered the phone. Yes, I'm sure, Issei, and so does sister. Hell, it's going to take some time to get used to that, said LeFay. True, I don't blame you. Where are you at the moment? asked Issei. We're in the training room, said LeFay. Okay, well then I'll meet you in your room since Ravel is asleep in here at the moment, said Issei, looking over to Ravel, who was asleep peacefully. Okay, we will be waiting, said LeFay as she ended the call. Issei could tell by the tone of her voice she was jealous. LeFay's and Amanda's own room. Girls, can I come in? Asked Issei as he appeared at the door. Yeah, Issei, said Amanda. Okay, said Issei as he came in. Hey Amanda, are you getting used to being a girl? Asked Issei. A little, some things I still muck up on, but besides that I've been doing fine, said Amanda as she put down Collyburn. Understandable, it's not every day you get turned into a girl, said Issei, laughing slightly while rubbing the back of his head. Yeah, now anyway, on to the reason why we called you here, said Amanda. Do you want to become my servants? May I ask why? Asked Issei. Mostly for protection. Even with the Cows Brigade in ruins, they are still going to be after me and my sister, said Amanda as she hugged LeFay. But that's not the only reason, said LeFay as she fidgeted in Amanda's grasp. Yes, even though we hadn't seen my gender change coming, we have both fallen in love with you, said Amanda, blushing. I seem to be doing that to a lot of people without even trying, laughed Issei. Yes, you even got Ophis to like you. You are a very unique person, Issei, said Amanda. Haha, well then, are you ready? Asked Issei as he pulled out his last bishop and knight pieces, which were both mutation pieces like the rest of his pieces. Mutations pieces, I'm not surprised, laughed Amanda. Yet all of my pieces are mutation pieces, said Issei, laughing. Wow, well then if you would, said LeFay as they laid down. Okay then, here we go, said Issei as his knight and bishop pieces floated just above LeFay's and Amanda's chests. I, Issei Grimmery, call to you, Amanda, LeFay, allow your souls to descend to this earth once more. Rejoice with your new life, now be reborn as my servants. Amanda and LeFay, chanted Issei as the two pieces went inside their chests. Wow, I feel stronger right away, said LeFay, surprised. Haha, well then should we get on to the real reason on why you two want to see me, said Issei with a seductive undertone. What do you mean, Issei-sama? Asked Amanda, surprised, but they both wanted to have with Issei again. You know what I mean, I could tell what you wanted from me before I even got in the room, said Issei as he walked up to them. What are you, said LeFay, surprised as Issei kissed her. I could hear the jealousy in your voice when I said Ravel was asleep, said Issei, and besides, good servants should please their master. Yes, master, let me please you, said Amanda as she went down and took off Issei's pants, exposing Issei's semi-hard. Good girl, said Issei. It looks like with her turning into a girl has made her more submissive, said Issei in his mind as he had some fun ideas to do now. Issei-sama moaned a muffled Amanda as she started licking Issei's. It looks like someone is jealous. Why don't you give her some attention, to said Issei as he used his hand to turn Amanda's face, which now had a load of on. Yes, Issei-sama moaned Amanda as she started crawling over to LeFay with lust and submission in her eyes. Sister? Asked LeFay, confused. What sister? Do you want some too? Asked Amanda as got only a few inches away from LeFay's face, letting her smell Issei's. Moaned LeFay, just by smelling Issei's, his smell is going to drive me crazy, screamed LeFay in her mind. If just the smell of Issei's is going to drive you crazy, then how about this? Asked Amanda as she slammed her lips onto her little sister's. Moaned LeFay. A nice scene, but it's rude for slaves to forget to pleasure their master, said Issei as he was sitting on the bed. He had been jacking off to the scene for a while, but now he wanted more. I've had my turn to please master, now it's your turn, little sister, said Amanda as she parted from her sisters, then throwing her to Issei's. Screamed LeFay in surprise as she landed by Issei's feet. Haha, go on, I can tell you want to, said Issei in commanding tone as he used one hand to hold his only a few centimeters. Issei-sama, please take me, moaned LeFay as she licked Issei's. Should I, LeFay? I could fuck your sister instead, said Issei, teasing her. Master, please, you're the only one that can please the like you do, begged LeFay as she looked up to Issei with the puppy dog eyes. Okay then, get rid of those cloths, both of you, you won't need them for some time, commanded Issei. Yes, Issei-sama, moaned LeFay as Amanda striked her down. But girls, LeFay, get on now, commanded Issei. Yes, Issei-sama, moaned LeFay as she climbed onto the bed and positioned herself over Issei's. But girl, now started mowing, commanded Issei. Yes, Issei-sama, moaned LeFay as she started inserting Issei's into her, but it was too slow for Issei's taste. Not fast enough, said Issei as he grabbed LeFay's hips and forced her down to his base in one go. Issei-sama, that's too sudden. Screamed LeFay as she came at Issei's sudden action as her body shook with pleasure. You say that, but you came hard when I did it. You like being treated rough, don't you, teased Issei as he kept hold of LeFay's hips and forced he up and down on his. Just admit it, little sister, you like being treated rough by Issei-sama, purred Amanda as she curled over them and started pinching and licking LeFay's nipples. Aha, moaned LeFay, now not even able to respond as she was in ul bliss. Haha, it looks like our combined efforts are too much for her, laughed Issei as he kept fucking LeFay. Well then let's see if she responds to this, said Issei as he could feel his release getting close. Oh, are you going to in her young womb? Asked Amanda as she kept playing with her sister's nipples. Yes, get ready LeFay to be a mother, said Issei as he thrusts started to get deeper and harder. Ah please in, moaned LeFay. Well that's what Issei and Amanda could make out. Well then should we give her what she wants? asked Issei. Yes, fill her up, said Amanda. Well then here you go, LaFay, said Issei as he released his first load into her. Yes, screamed LaFay in bliss nonstop. A few minutes later, aha, it looks like she couldn't take any more, laughed Issei as he pulled out as a stream of float out of her. I'm curious, what did you mean finally be a mother? Didn't you get us pregnant when you went into mating season? Asked Amanda surprised. Since you were still human at that point, the sheer power in my actually stopped you from getting pregnant, said Issei. Well, then get me pregnant, Issei-sama, said Amanda as she threw Issei on the bed. What's up with you being so submissive? Not that I'm complaining, asked Issei. I guess this is a part of me that wasn't needed when I was male, but now since I'm a girl now it's come out. But I like it, Issei-sama, said Amanda as she kissed Issei. Well then be a good slave and get moving, commanded Issei as he parted from the kiss holding Amanda's chin. Yes, Issei-sama, moaned Amanda as she slammed Issei's into her dripping. You're as nice and tight, I might finish too soon, moaned Issei as Amanda's was one of the tightest he had fucked besides Ravel, LaFay and Asia. Ah please, moaned Amanda in a complete mess. That's not the correct way for a slave to ask her master, is it? Come to think of it, I might just go give it to someone else, said Issei teasing her. Please master, release your glorious and your salves, begged Amanda as she made even tighter. What a good girl, I think you deserve a reward, said Issei as he kissed while slamming her hips down and started filling her. A few minutes later, Issei-sama, moaned Amanda as she passed out. Haha, well then, I'll clean up and get something to eat, laughed Issei, as now both LaFay and Amanda had passed out. So, he cleaned up the room and went and took a shower, which led to a round with Asia, Zenobia and Irina, bitchin' with Murayama and Roswas. Oh, hey Issei, do you want anything? Asked Rose as she was making tonight's dinner. Just one dragon apple please, said Issei as he walked in and sat at the table. Sure thing, Issei, said Rose. Afternoon, Murayama, said Issei. Afternoon, master, said Murayama as she was eating a piece of cake. I'm surprised you're calling me master, just call me Issei-sama, Murayama, said Issei as Rose brought him the dragon apple. Here you go, Issei, said Rose as she gave Issei the dragon apple he asked for. Thank you, Rose, said Issei as he gave her a kiss on the cheek. You're welcome, Issei, said Rose as she blushed. Their relationship like this had progressed this far after Issei's heat season. Thank you, Issei, but why does that smell so good? Asked Murayama. That's strange, these shouldn't smell any different to a normal apple, said Issei surprised along with Rose. This is strange, why don't you try some and see what it does, said Rose surprised. Would it hurt me? Asked Murayama. No, it shouldn't, said Issei as he cut off a chunk of the dragon apple and passed it to Murayama. Okay, I'm blaming you, if anything happens I'm blaming you, said Murayama as she took a bite out of the apple until her eye turned into slits and ate the whole thing, then went for Issei's half as a pair of white and blue wings came out of her back. Well I thought I recognized the devil that was killed, it was Volley, shame I wanted to finish him off, said Issei surprised at the sudden development. Murayama, snap out of it, said Issei as he used his influence as the alpha dragon to bring her under control. Oh, what happened? What's this on my back? Asked Murayama confused as she came back to her senses. You went into a state of instinct to eat the dragon apple, not surprising, considering that you were changed into a dragon, isn't that right, Albion, said Issei. But I'm not a dragon, said Murayama surprised at what Issei said. Yes, you are young one, said Albion from the wings. What the? Screamed Murayama surprised. Calm down. So Albion, how did Volley die? Asked Issei. We got caught in some sort of magic field, and that's all I remember, but I do know the makeup of the field that trapped us, said Volley. Who's Volley? Asked Murayama. He was Albion's last host, the devil you saw die before I turned you into a devil, said Issei. Okay, said Murayama. Now, Albion, you said you know the makeup of the field, how did you know it? Asked Issei. It was the same as when God sealed me and Drag in these gears, said Albion, shocking all. What? How the hell do they have that? Roswas get Surzich, Azazel, Michael, hell get everyone important now. Screamed Issei. Is it really a big deal? Asked Murayama. Yes, it is. God is dead, and any of his power that was left over is being watched over by the angels, said Issei. What? Said Murayama shocked. Yes, Issei, said Roswas as she contacted everyone that needed to know. Well, now we have to prepare for that. Now Albion, said Issei sighing. Yes, Issei? Asked Albion's card. Do you want me to get rid of the souls in the gear? Asked Issei surprising Albion. Why, though we are rivals, why are you helping me? Asked Albion. Can you even remember why you and Drake were fighting? Asked Issei. Now that you mention it, I can't remember, said Albion. Can you remember Drake? Asked Issei as the boosted gear appeared on Issei's hand. No, I can't, said Drake. Well then, I don't see why you two should fight anymore, said Issei. Agreed, you two, old friend. Asked Drake. Yeah, I agree, fighting just got us killed and placed in these things, said Albion. Yeah, but I don't mind given who my current host is, said Drake laughing. True, it's not every day you have the alpha of our kind as your host, said Albion. So why did I go into a state of instinct then? Asked Murayama. When Volley was killed I went to you because you were a good host, I couldn't see anything, so when you got shot I healed you. As soon as I realized it was Issei that saved you, I hid away thinking he might try and kill me again, said Albion. Kill you, that means? said Murayama as she got into a defensive posture. Don't worry, I'm not going to kill you, said Issei holding up his hands. Issei, Roswa said you need to talk to us and is that? Asked Surzich as he appeared with Azazel, Michael and so forth. Yes, that is Albion's gear, and he's going to tell you how him and Vali was captured with God's power, said Issei. Are you sure it was God's power? Asked Michael. Yes, it was. It's going to take some time to talk about all of this, said Albion. Well, you have fun with that. Roswis, you said you wanted to go into town, said Issei. Yes, I wanted to go into town with you, said Roswis blushing. Well then let's go, said Issei as he locked arms with Rose and left. What, Issei, you're not going to help, called Murayama. Nope, said Issei from the door before they heard the door shut. Well then let's get this out of the way. We have the peace talks with the humans tonight, said Surzich laughing at Issei being able to get away from almost all political meetings or important meetings. But Issei and Rose in town. It's a lovely day, don't you agree, Rose, said Issei as they were walking through town. Yes, it is. I just wish people didn't look at us so much, said Rose blushing as everyone was looking at them. How can you not blame them though? Only last week they found out about our world, and now the strongest being in the world is right by them, said Issei as they sat outside a restaurant. Can I get your order? Asked a scared waitress that came out to them. Calm down, we're not going to do anything, we just want something to eat, said Issei. I'll have a medium rare steak and a bottle of red wine please. I'll have the same, said Rose. Of course sir, ma'am, said the waitress as she left. Do you think tonight's peace talks will go off without a hitch? Asked Rose. Probably not, either it will be some devils from the old Satan faction, some other faction from our world or some religious group like the Catholic Church or something, said Issei. Why can't people just talk it out, sighed Rose. Agreed, but it's people with a set state of mind or people that just want everything under their control, said Issei. Agreed, sighed Rose again. Here's your meals, enjoy, said the waitress as she came back out with Issei and Rose's steaks and another with a bottle of red wine. Thank you, said Issei and Rose. 1 hour later. We have a few hours before the peace talks, what do you want to do? Asked Issei even though Issei knew what Rose wanted. Can we go somewhere more private please? Asked Rose blushing. Sure, should we get a love hotel room or go back home? Asked Issei as he grabbed Rose. Issei, we're in public, said Rose. So, now one will notice, but they will if you keep making noise, said Issei as he kept teasing her. Issei moaned Rose. Let's head home then, said Issei as he opened a portal back to Rose's room. Roswis's room. Issei, please more, moaned Rose as Issei threw her onto the bed. Haha, what a slutty girl you are, my sweet Rose, said Issei as he put up a barrier which he forgot to do with the others today besides Asia, Zenobia and Irina. Issei, don't say that, moaned Rose as Issei kissed her. You say that but your body says differently, said Issei as he used dress break on her clothes and started playing with her and her tits. Issei, please more, screamed Rose as she came hard on Issei's hand. I could, but you have to admit that you're a slutty girl only for me, commanded Issei, since he wanted to play with Rose. I'm a slutty girl only for Issei-sama, screamed Rose in pure bliss. But girl, my lovely Rose, now why don't you give me some pleasure as well? Asked Issei as now his was poking Rose's. Yes, Issei-sama, said Roses as she lowered herself into Issei's heart. Kept moving, don't stop until I say so, is that understood? Asked Issei in a commanding voice. Yes, Issei-sama, screamed Rose. Haha, how would have thought that a girl that hadn't had a date in her life is this slutty, said Issei teasing Rose while grabbing her tits. Yes, I'm slutty girl, but only for you, Issei-sama, screamed Rose in bliss. But girl, I think you deserve a reward, said Issei as he started thrusting hard into Rose's. Thank you, Issei-sama, screamed Rose as she felt her womb filling with Issei's. A few minutes later. Issei, I'm sorry to interrupt, but the peace meeting is about to start, said Ria's knocking at the door, since the only stop sound from getting out not from coming in. Fine, we'll take a quick shower, then we'll be down, said Issei. This was the second time that he had been interrupted. He's going to be finishing with everyone tonight for sure. Peace meeting. Can we get this over quickly? Asked Issei as they appeared at the peace meeting with his lovers. Everyone else had already got there, devil house leaders, high-ranking angels, etc. You seem mad, what's the matter, Issei? Asked Surzich. Well, any man would be when you're in the middle of having and for the second time you get interrupted, said Issei as he sat down on the with Rias and Ophis cuddling him and Kuroka and Kaneko sitting on his lap and started eating, passing some to everyone of Issei's house. Haha, tell me, Issei did laughed Azazel as some lightning hit him coming from a slightly pissed Issei. Don't say anything or the next one will hurt even more, Azazel, said Issei. Well then, is everyone ready to begin? Asked Michael as he cleared his throat but laughing in his mind. Cameras are ready, said a TV reporter. We're ready, said the humans that represented the countries, etc. Later 10 p.m. And now we just need everyone to agree to the signing, said Azazel still a bit sore from Issei sapping him a few more times from bad jokes he made as there was multiple explosions outside that destroyed the building, leaving everyone alive because it was shielded. Catholics in the old Satan faction, looks like I was right, said Issei as he cranked open an eye since he had fallen asleep with his lovers. Why aren't you going to take this seriously? Innocent people could die. said a TV reporter. I knew this was going to happen, so I took the liberty to teleport all humans far enough away so they won't get hurt but can still see the light show, said Issei as he got up with his lovers getting up as well. At least this makes this more fun, said Ria. She got up. Yeah, as comfortable as Issei Naya is, it gets boring since we can't do anything, Naya said Kuroka. Neither are going to stop, so let's have some fun, said Issei baring his dragon teeth as himself and his lovers took off. As much as I hate to say so, Issei is right, said Michael sighing. Agreed, well then let's get this over with, said Surzich. Around an hour later. Well, at least we got rid of the last descendants of the old devil kings, and Michael, said Issei holding a glowing ball of yellow light. Yes, Issei? Asked Michael. Patch, said Issei throwing the ball at Michael. Thanks, this is God's power. Well then I'll use to change the system for the better, said Michael catching the ball of light. Well then we're going home, said Issei as a black portal opened. Sorry Issei, but I can't allow you to leave here alive, said Saji appearing in his balance breaker. Who's that? Asked a TV reporter. Denshiro Saji, my former pawn, said Sona. You know him? How do you know him though? Asked a TV reporter. He was one of my servants. When him and Issei first met they didn't get along. When I said I was marrying Issei he tried to take me from Issei. He left after that, and we haven't seen him since, said Sona. You don't really seem to care about him anymore, said the TV reporter. No, I don't. He tried to kill Issei. I don't care for people that attack the people I love, said Sona. So, what are you doing here, Saji? Asked Issei with some venom in his voice. I'm here to kill you and take your wives and make them mind-broken slaves for me to use, screamed Saji. And what makes you think you stand a snowball's chance in hell against me, Saji? Asked Issei as his hair started moving in an angry fashion, like Ria's from an anime when Issei's dies by Fenrir. You may have gotten stronger to go against a high-class dragon, but I'm stronger. Aha, it seems like he's here, said Saji as a golden portal appeared. Him? Asked Issei surprised as an angel stepped through the portal. Father, you're alive? Asked Michael shocked. Well, look who we have here, my stupid no-good second son, crackled God in an evil voice. Father, what are you talking about? I've kept everything working since I thought you died in the Great War, asked Michael in shock at what his father was saying. Kept the system working? All you have done is made peace. There will never be peace, screamed God as he shot a light spear at Michael that could kill him with power left over. Michael? Said Issei as he panicked and opened a portal to the dimensional gap in front of Michael, sending the light spear into the gap. Thank you, Issei. Father, stop this. We have worked hard to get this piece set up. Why are you doing this? This is what you wanted, said a scarred Michael as the portal opened only a few feet away from him. I was a fool to create that stupid dream. Now I'll just kill you all and start again, starting with that red-headed bitch down there, screamed God as he sent another light spear at Ria's. Ophis, said Issei as he deflected the light spear away from Ria's. Yes, Issei? Asked Ophis. Set up a barrier full power, said Issei as he flew back up to face Saji and God. Issei? Asked Surzich. Of course my Issei, said Ophis as the barrier went up. It's too late, Surzich said Azazel. Agreed, said Surzich shaking his head. What's too late? Asked the TV reporter. Issei's going to make sure God dies and stays that way, said Azazel. Ah, what can you do to me, you weak devil? I am God, arg, screamed God as several balls of power of destruction hit him. Isn't Issei the strongest being in the world? Why is God calling him weak? Asked a TV reporter. Issei and Ophis can make themselves feel human to any other supernatural species, so God is thinking that Issei's weak, laughed Azazel. I'm not going to help Father. He made this choice. He now has to live with it, said Michael. You lowly devil. Saji, get him, screamed God in pain. Of course, said Saji as he started flying towards Issei. Ophis, if you would please, asked Issei. Of course my Issei, said Ophis. Issei's and Ophis went straight at God and Saji. Ophis turned into her dragon form, a long black snake longer Midgardsormer. Ophis dealt with Saji with ease, even the help from God. It only put him up to high-class dragon, so it was no problem for Ophis. God was a tough fight because he was in the top 10 strongest in the world, which meant he could put up a good fight against Issei. Since God decided to destroy the barrier Ophis put up, Issei had to be careful not to destroy the surrounding area. When they were fighting, God didn't care. He tried to destroy everything, which meant that everyone else that was not human was trying the best they can to protect the area. Give up, God, this fight is pointless. Surrender now, said Issei standing over God on the ground with a few rips in his clothes. Never, I created this world. I'll destroy when I want, screamed God as he got up off the floor weakly. Who is this kid? I have spent all my time on getting my power back and he's making me use it. Fuck it, I'll take his power, said God mad in his mind. God, this is your last chance. Surrender, said Issei. Never, said God as he rushed Issei, grabbing him. I'm going to take your power. Oh, well then Drake, let's give him what he wants, said Issei as the boosted gear appeared on his left hand, then grabbed God the same way he did Volley at the peace talks. On it, partner, said Drake as he did the same to God what he did to Volley. You're a pure blood devil. How the hell do you have a scared gear? Asked God, scared as more power was forcefully being forced into him. Fuck you, that's how, keep it coming Drake, he can't take much more, said Issei, as he could feel the same feeling he did with Volley, give up yet. Never, I would rather die than surrender to a devil. Screamed God in pain. Very well then, goodbye God, said Issei as he released his right hand and moved it into position to stab him right through the heart as Ascalon appeared in his hand. Haha, you fell for it. Laughed God as he broke free, now die. Screamed God in pain as Fenrir appeared out of nowhere, biting God in two, killing him. Fenrir, what are you doing here? Asked Issei. He absorbed back his power and gave what was left of God's power to Michael. Fenrir? Norse mythology, am I right? Asked a TV reporter. Yes Naya, he was under Volley's control, but with him dead he disappeared, Naya said. Kuroka. Your name's Issei, correct? Asked Fenrir. Yes, that's me, but I didn't know you could talk, answered Issei. I've only been able to talk since my father has been sealed away. He had me completely under his control. I couldn't talk or disobey him, I could still think, but I couldn't say anything, said Fenrir as he walked over to Issei. You, some father, so all the things you have done have been your father making you, said Issei, feeling sorry for Fenrir. Yes, now on to the reason I'm here, Issei, I would like to serve as your familiar, said Fenrir, shocking all. Why though? I would have thought that given what your father has done to you, it would have made you not want to serve anyone, said Issei. True, but I've been watching you since I got free and you're a great person if not very perverted, said Fenrir. How many times have I been called perverted? Asked Issei, sighing. We've lost count, said everyone. You? Well then, are you sure, Fenrir? Asked Issei as the familiar contract symbol appeared between them. Yes, I am, said Fenrir, as the familiar contract now showed that Issei was Fenrir's master. Well then, let's go home. I need to burn off a lot of energy, said Issei. Oh, I forgot to ask, do you have a human form, Fenrir? No, I don't. I like this form. I've never thought of changing it, said Fenrir as he was now the size of a normal dog. Well then, we'll get to proper living arrangements tomorrow. See ya everyone, said Issei, as everyone from his harem got on plus Fenrir, and we're about to leave until. Issei, can I come with you? There's something me and Lady Venelana wish to talk to you about. Asked Grafia. Sure, just make it quick, said Issei as he waited for Grafia and Venelana to get on. Issei, we didn't get dragonkind say to peace, said Michael. We want peace, some other dragon we're supposed to be here, but this year is young hatched, so they have their claws full, said Issei as they left Issei's house living room. So, what is it that you want to talk to me about? Asked Issei. We want to join your harem, said Grafia and Venelana bluntly. Well, that does sound fun. You're married, said Issei, thinking of all they could have. I left my husband because he hasn't had with me since Riaz was born. He's just been focusing on his harem, said Venelana, shocking all. For me, will I do still love Surzich. I can't have the sort of relationship I want with him, being a devil king and all. We talk, and he said if I wanted to find someone else I can, said Grafia, shocking them. So, we both talked to each other and decided that you would be the best man for us, said Grafia and Venelana. Me too, I've fallen in love with you as well, said Murayama, shocking everyone the most. Issei, said Riaz. Yes. Asked Issei, a bit nervous. You need to stop getting so many women falling in love with you, said Riaz, shaking her head. Like I've said before, I'm not doing this on purpose, said Issei. Are you three sure about this? You know how possessive Issei can be, Naya, said Kuroka. Yes, we are, said Grafia, Venelana and Murayama. Well then, let's go upstairs. I still have a lot of energy left over from fighting, said Issei as he gestured for the door. Let's have some fun, said Riaz seductively as she forgot the point she was making, and the though of seeing and having with her own mother turned her on. She was already having with her now biological brother, so why not add their mother into the mix, took over her mind. Let's go, said Issei, loving that Riaz was already into this. Fenrir, ask my parents for anything and see you some point tomorrow, said Issei as he was being led out by his lovers. Thanks, Issei, have fun, laughed Fenrir as he walked over to the sofa and sat with his parents. You, what is our son like? Asked Mr. S. Haidu. The kind, yet very perverted man, said Fenrir. That was the last time Issei and his lovers were seen for the rest day. When Issei said he had energy left over, he meant it. They had for hours on end, so much that they completely forgot the night, but when they would wake up they would have a very big surprise waiting for them. The next morning around 11 a.m. I'm sorry, we must have done it how many times? Asked Issei as he yawned. Well, best clear up before they girls wake up or someone comes in, said Issei, still yawning as he used magic to replace bedsheets and clean everyone up. Greg, are you out? Because I feel something scaly on me and more tails, asked Issei as he started rubbing the dust out from his eyes, as he got no response, making him think he was still asleep, but in truth he was wide awake looking at the scene, which was currently a scaly Issei, with everyone else being the same. Even morning, every holy fuck, screamed Issei as he now saw everyone was covered in scales matching their hair color. What's going on, Issei, what the fuck? Screamed everyone as they woke and saw that themselves and everyone else were now covered head to toe in scales, and as they got up, they could also see they had dragon wings and a dragon's tail. Ophis, what's happened? asked Issei, hoping that she knew what happened. I don't know, my best guess is that with all that leftover power being put into her, it made our bodies turn into hybrids so our body could withstand it. But I don't get why I'm like this as well, said Ophis as she was studying everyone. I can't change back to my human form, can anyone? Asked Issei. Nope, answered everyone, even Ophis. Partner, what happened? I couldn't talk to you, holy shit. Asked Drake as he woke up along with Albion. Okay, everyone calm down, judging by the feel of everyone's power, all of you have become dragon hybrids. Well, that's my best guess anyway, said Issei. Issei, what was that, holy fuck? Asked the rest of the house as they came in. Okay, let's get something to eat first, then we can try and figure this out some more, said Issei as his stomach growled along with everyone else's. Fenrir contacts Surzich, Azazel and Michael. Yes, Issei, said Fenrir. Kitchen. Well, we have the reports back from the test, and it seems you've all become new dragon species. Dragon Devil, Dragon Fallen Devil, Dragon Devil Vampire, Dragon Devil Phoenix and Dragon Devil Nekashu. Grafia, Benelana and Murayama, your pregnancies have sped up to match everyone else, and on the line PF pregnancies, all of your unborn kids are fine, but have changed to match your bodies, said Azazel, reading off the medical report. Wow, I can't believe something like this could have happened. Any ideas, Ophis? Asked Issei. No, I have never seen anything like this. My best guess is that because you're a dragon god, all parts of you are pure power including your sperm. When it reacted with everyone's body, the power changed everyone's bodies into that of a dragon, said Ophis. Well, it's not done us any harm, said Rias. True, if anything I already feel stronger, said Irina as she got up and cracked her knuckles. Ophis, do you think everyone else will now have their own dragon form? Asked Issei. I don't see why not, it may take some time to use it and turn back to a humanoid form though, said Ophis. Well, should we head to the training room and get used to this? Asked Rias. Well then call us if anything happens, said Surzich as himself. Azazel and Michael left. Well, you're not going to do much, you lot are pregnant, said Issei. Okay, Issei, said Rias as everyone left. Wow, look at that view, said Drake in Issei's mind. I know, I think I can get used to everyone being like this. In fact, I think I'm going to love seeing that from now on, said Issei back to Drake as he was watching them walk away, seeing their tails sway idly with each step. After a few hours of light training, everyone found they couldn't change back to a human form. But that didn't bother them, they were still the same people. After the training they went and had a shower. This gave them a chance to study their new bodies, because the scales they had were as hard as a dragon's, but at the same time flexible like normal skin. Author's note. Sorry this took so long, I had this all ready to go up for my new story, but then I lost the latest copy, so I had to start again from around the middle. Then I got problems with where it will write, I blame MC Word for that. Then some family stuff and a few other things. I should be able to get out chapters normally from now on. If you're wondering what everyone now looks like, the scales have replaced their skin, the tail and wings come out of the normal positions they would, and their hands stayed the same besides their nails looking sharper. Also the rest of their bodies has been replaced with that of a dragon. Had been around a week after the little incident, thing had settled down in Issei's household, well back to the norm anyway. Issei had told his lovers to stay in the house for safety reasons, since there were still some people that didn't agree with the peace signing. Those main groups were extremely religious people, Catholics mainly. Other religions had started to adapt to the big change, allowing devils and fallen into their religions. In heaven things had started to improve with Michael now having God's power. It made him the new god of heaven, which allowed him to alter the system God had made. The first things he did is to stop holy punishment for devils and fallen. It could be used as punishment, but only when needed. Devils could hold holy stuff, but could hurt them if the system deemed what they were doing evil. Probably the biggest change in heaven was that Michael had changed the system to allow angels to have kids via. Along with this, he had allowed angels to have a freer lifestyle, but they were told to moderate it, they were still angels. Killing was forbidden, of course this led to around 100 angels falling at first. They were slowly allowed back and becoming angels again. They had to admit what they had done wrong and so forth. But the other factions started signing the peace treaty as well. The one that surprised everyone the most was the vampire faction, since they hated other species. It wasn't until the peace signing they found out why the vampires wanted to start working with other species. Dracula had taken back his crown, and he had a new queen at his side, one of the few vampires he had sired himself, Seraz Victoria, now known as Seraz Dracula. Everyone was scared. No, that's an understatement, they were petrified. Dracula was one of the strongest beings around, and now that his own queen was from his blood, meant she would be as strong as him given time. When they asked why they wanted to start working with humans, they said two names, Integra Helsing and Walter C. Dornes. They said living with them changed their views on life. They said that the old ways of the vampires were outdated and needed to change along with the world. Issei's house, 11 a.m. I never would have thought that any of this would happen, said Issei sitting in the living room watching TV with the household. Naya. purred Kuroka and Kaneko happily, who were laying their heads on Issei's lap while he was petting them while their tails swayed happily. "The world is full of surprises, little brother," said Surzic, appearing behind everyone. "Hey brother, what are you doing here?" asked Issei, tilting his head back to see Surzic standing there. "I came to see how everyone is doing and to give you all something to help with the pregnancies," said Surzic, joining everyone on the settee. "Well, for one, you are going to need a nursery for them. Secondly, you're going to need a new floor for them. And finally, there is going to be 21 kids at least, and with knowing you, Issei, probably more. So I'm giving you servants to look after the place and your kids, meaning they need a place to stay," said Surzic. "Really, thanks, that will be a big help," said Issei happily. "No problem, Issei. The servants will be of devil, fallen, angel and more. They said they would do as thanks for being one of the main people that helped our kinds finally get peace," said Surzic happily. "To think a pervert was one of the people that made the biblical factions have peace after thousands of years of war and a cold war," said Michael, appearing along with Gabriel and Azazel. "Are sure that's a good idea, brother," said Azazel, laughing as lightning hit him, knocking him to the ground. "You're one to talk, Azazel," said Issei as he stopped petting Kuroka for a second, getting a displeased moan from her to send the lighting at Azazel, then went back to petting her. "Haha, Azazel, you should know better than to do that," laughed Surzic. "Ow. Anyway, Issei, everyone, I have something to say," said Azazel, getting up from the floor repairing his clothes. "What is it, Azazel?" asked Issei, snickering. "You remember Rainer?" asked Azazel, getting an angry look from everyone. "What about her?" asked Issei as his hand started twitching as more lighting danced around his hand. "She's alive," said Azazel as Issei tackled him to the ground. "What? How the hell is she alive?" screamed Issei as his power spiked to more than enough to kill Azazel. Cough. "Let me explain the situation, please," begged Azazel. "Start talking," demanded Issei. "Around a week after our peace signing, I was out walking here on Earth. I saw some old Satan faction devils attacking a cloaked fallen. My first reaction was to help the unknown fallen. I took care of the devils with ease, and as I was finishing of the last one, he shot a fireball at the fallen, revealing their face. It was Rainer. She was in a bad state, her limbs were thin as anything. She said my name as she collapsed. At first I wondered what to do, but then more devils showed up and started attacking, so I transported us back to my place and placed her in the spare bed. A few days later she woke up terrified that I would kill her, but I said I wouldn't and asked her why she killed you in Asia. She told me the whole story of how Kakabiel captured and brainwashed everyone on his side. She managed to resist at first, but slowly it started working on her. When she was on the date with you, it slightly broke, allowing her to start taking back control. When you were at the church, when she begged for you to help her, that was when the mind control fully broke. As Ria's attack was about to hit her, she managed to teleport away. She was found by a woman in her 60s in a bad shape. The lady took her in and healed her. Since she teleported herself into a tree and fell out, time passed and they started living together. Since the woman had no kids, she liked having Rainer around, even though she knew she was a fallen. In that time it gave Rainer a chance to think about what she had done, and with the help of the woman she knew what she had to do for you to forgive her, and to forgive herself for what she had done. One day when they were outside doing some yard work, they got attacked by the old Satan faction. Rainer managed to kill them, but not before they got a lethal strike on the woman. She died in Rainer's arms. The last thing she said was for Rainer to find you lot again and seek forgiveness. Rainer gave her a burial and left to find you lot. Then she ran into the devils, and you now know the rest, said Azazel, shocking all there, since they could tell Azazel wasn't lying. Most importantly, Issei, Asia and Riaz were the ones most affected by the news. "You mean when we killed those fallen, we basically killed?" asked Riaz nervously. "Innocent people," said Azazel, cutting Riaz off. "They are Mau," said Riaz, crying along with Asia. "You did them a favor. The way Rainer said Kakabiel did it was an outright horrible way. It basically destroyed their personalities and made them into weapons of destruction that only followed Kakabiel's orders. Their original personalities were gone, and there was no way to bring it back," said Azazel, as Issei led him as everyone started processing what Azazel said. "Where is Rainer now?" asked Issei. "She's at my place at the moment. Why do you ask?" asked Azazel, concerned at why Issei was asking. "I know we need to apologize to her, even if we didn't know the truth at the time, and if that is the truth she told you," said Issei. "I'll only get her if you promise not to kill her on sight," said Azazel. "I promise," said Issei. "Okay then," said Azazel, feeling Issei won't attack her as he contacted Rainer and told her to teleport. Rainer said everyone as Rainer teleported in. "Hello, Issei, Asia, Riaz," everyone were the first words Rainer said to Issei and everyone in a good year. "Rainer, Azazel said that you and everyone else was brainwashed to fight us, is that right?" asked Issei, trying to not make eye contact with her. "Yes," said Rainer, sadly looking down at the floor. "So, you didn't want to kill me and Asia, is that right?" asked Issei, seeing the sadness in Rainer's eyes. "Yes," cried Rainer as she broke down, slumping onto her knees. "Everyone out," said Issei. "Issei?" asked everyone, surprised. "I said out," said Issei again. Everyone left the room, leaving Issei, Asia, Riaz and Rainer alone in the room. To say Rainer was scared was an understatement. She couldn't read Issei's actions. He could kill her right now for all she knew. But if that was the only way for them to forgive her, then she would let them kill her. Rainer, said Issei, looking into Rainer's eyes. Yes, Issei, asked Rainer, scared at what Issei would do. You want us to forgive you, don't you? Asked Issei. Yes, please, I'll do anything you want me to do, begged Rainer, crying, telling the three that the guilt was killing her and there was only one way for her to forgive herself for it. Then get on your knees, commanded Issei as Ascalon appeared in his hand. Okay, said Rainer, sadly getting onto her knees. Outside the room, everyone was shocked what was going on. They knew Issei had become a person to enjoy fights, all dragons did, but would he kill Rainer? They couldn't do anything to stop him even if they tried. Issei, please don't kill Rainer, was the look Asia was giving Issei. Issei, don't, she suffered too much already, was the face Riaz was making. Issei didn't say as anything as her started moving Ascalon towards Rainer's neck. Rainer saw it coming and closed her eyes, taking what she probably thought would be her last breath as tears fell from her eyes. But as she waited for the sword to take off her head, it didn't come, but instead she felt a pair of hands wrap round her shoulders and take her into a hug. Rainer, you are forgiven, said Issei, hugging Rainer. Thank you. Thank you. Cried Rainer, bursting into tears as Asia and Riaz bent down and hugged her as well. You had us scared there for a second, Issei, said Surzich, coming in with everyone else. I'm a pervert, not a murderer, and besides, Rainer is sorry for what she has done. There's no reason to kill her, said Issei, looking up at everyone. Well then, I'll tell the workers to begin working, said Surzich happily. We best be off then, said everyone else. Rainer, let's go, said Azazel as he was the only one left. They appeared. No, Issei, can I stay here and help you? Asked Rainer, surprising everyone. Why though? Asked Issei, surprised. Well, you have forgiven me. I need to forgive myself for what I've done, so I would like to be a servant to you, said Rainer. Very well then, Graphia, since you have more experience with this, can you get this done please? Asked Issei. Of course, Issei, said Graphia as she gestured for Rainer to follow her. A few hours later, Issei's room. Everything is set up, Issei. Rainer will start serving as a servant in a few hours, said Graphia, coming into Issei's room, seeing Venelana giving Issei a tit job as a load of covered her face and tits. Thank you, Graphia. Now why don't you come here, moaned Issei, since it was Venelana and Graphia's turn with Issei. I think I will, said Graphia as she walked over to her husband and her mistress turned lover seductively. Here you go, Graphia, moaned Venelana, letting Issei's out of her tits, licking his tit before she let it go. Issei, you taste so good, moaned Graphia as she started sucking Issei's as Venelana started eating her out. Your tastes even better, Graphia, moaned a muffled Venelana. Well, she is pregnant, moaned Issei as Graphia started playing with his balls. Issei, it's not nice to talk about someone as if they're not here, moaned Graphia, grabbing Issei's balls harder to make her point, but it backfired on her. You may be one of my wives, but I'm still your master, and I think a punishment is in order, said Issei darkly as he rubbed the side of Graphia's face. Issei-sama, asked Graphia, wondering what Issei would do when all of a sudden he grabbed 2 handfuls of her hair and then proceeded to fuck her mouth and throat as hard as he wanted. Then Lana, don't you think we should teach this naughty maid a lesson, teased Issei as he continued to fuck Graphia's throat. I think we should, Issei answered Graphia, laughing. HH. Moaned a muffled Graphia loudly as Venelana started licking Graphia's ass, since when she was still married to Surzich, the only person to do anything to her ass was Venelana when they had their nights together, since they were both unsatisfied by their husbands. Enjoying this, Graphia? Being fucked by your master and one of your mistresses, teased Issei. Yes shh. Moaned Graphia, her muffled voice sending vibrations along Issei's. What a good girl, mother, do you think she deserves a reward? Asked Issei with a perverted smile on his face. I think we should, son, moaned Venelana. She was loving this. Well, incest didn't affect the supernatural, in fact it was a big turn on for some. Well, Venelana had found out that she loved having with her son's wife, but now it was so much better. Well then, here you go, Graphia, said Issei as he released himself inside Graphia, seeing Venelana's face as it was covered in Graphia's. It was the same face of when he called Ria's sister. When they were having, she was loving it the same as Ria's. Guess it runs in the family. Well, I can't say much, laughed Issei in his mind. Issei-sama's milk, it's delicious, moaned Graphia as Issei pulled himself out of Graphia, letting the last few drops hit her face and chest. Give me some as well, pouted Venelana cutely as she kissed Graphia, tasting Issei's. Venelana, moaned Graphia as she started playing with Venelana's tits. Sorry to forget about you, mother, purred Issei as he crawled behind Venelana, seeing her dripping, giving it a lick before pushing into it, earning a pleased moan from her. Good boy, you knew exactly what mommy wanted, moaned Venelana, turning around for a second to kiss Issei. You're welcome, mother, but don't expect me to do all the work, mommy, moaned Issei as he moved slowly, making his point. Of course, moaned Venelana as she started bucking her hips against Issei's, as Graphia started kissing her again, not wanting to be left out. They continued for another 2 hours, trying multiple positions, until Issei, much to his disappointment, was called to heaven along with Irina to work on some unique holy sword designs with Gabriel. Then he had to go and see Michael to get Earth's climate sorted out, since dragons couldn't live comfortably on Earths anymore, and with most of the older dragons being from Earth originally, they wanted to go home. It was even getting to him and now his mates, either too hot or too cold. By the time Issei and Irina had got everything done it was late, so they decided to stay the night. During when they were having to relieve the day's stress, Issei felt a presence and decided to pull whoever it was into the room. They found it was none other than Gabriel. Well, look what we have here, Irina teased Issei as he held Gabriel in place with some magic. Oh Gabriel, I didn't know you would do this, what a naughty thing to do, teased Irina darkly as she turned her head round to see Gabriel being held by Issei's magic. Issei, let me go please, asked Gabriel blushing since Issei and Irina were both naked, then seeing Issei's was standing tall. I think not Gabriel, you brought me up here when I was having, and now for the third time I've been interrupted, so now that you know that what do you think I'm going to? Asked Issei walking over to Gabriel. What Irina had told him about Gabriel was right, she was the most beautiful angel in heaven. Issei, can you at least let me down please? Asked Gabriel a bit nervous at what Issei was planning to do. Should I Irina? Asked Issei pervertedly. I don't know Issei, should we? Asked Irina pervertedly walking towards Gabriel. Irina, what's happened to you? You weren't like this when you were an angel, asked Gabriel seeing Irina's big change in personality. Oh, you mean my change in my personality? Asked Irina getting a nod from Gabriel. Well, I guess this is the true me, it was forced to hide away from when I was a kid, but now it's free and I love it, said Irina as she kissed Gabriel, surprising Gabriel and Issei, since Irina just kissed the strongest female angel in heaven. Oh Irina, you're turning into me, I like it, said Issei pervertedly as he pulled Irina off Gabriel and threw her onto the bed and started playing with her breasts. Issei, moaned Irina as Issei had his way with her. Irina looks like she is really enjoying it, said Gabriel under her breath as her hand subconsciously moved towards her tits and started playing with them. Gabriel was the dream girl of every male angel, and with angels now being able to have kids, it made most of the male angels want to have kids with her. To say she was embarrassed was an understatement, she herself did want kids, but she wanted to find the right man that could please her in bed, but not only look at her for her body, but herself in general. And Issei so far was the best choice, but he did kill God. The angel's father Gabriel had already lost her brother Lucifer, thanks to God tricking him. Issei. More. Screamed Irina in bliss. You're the most wet you have been in a long time, is it because you're being watched by Gabriel? Asked Issei darkly as he teased Irina's nipples. Yes, I love it. Screamed Irina trying to buck her hips against Issei's, trying to get a release since Issei was holding her just off her release. What a naughty girl. Well then Gabriel, why don't you join us? Asked Issei smiling as he turned to see Gabriel on the floor, hands on her breasts and in a small puddle of her own juices. I better not regret this, moaned Gabriel as she crawled over to Issei and Irina. Oh, you won't trust me, we'll give you the best time of your life, said Issei darkly as he pulled Gabriel into a kiss. For the rest of the night screams of pleasure were heard from the room, all male angels were sad since Gabriel had taken a man, and none of them were that man. A week later Issei and everyone were invited to Kyoto by Yasaka. She wanted to invite Issei and everyone over to start the peace talks between dragons and yokai. During one of the nights staying there Yasaka got captured by the hero faction. This caused the yokai to be in an uproar, since with her having Lee-line power, it made her not be able to away for Kyoto for long periods of time and would start to affect the city negatively. So, with the help of Issei, he along with a sizable force of yokai which included Kunu, led an attack on the hero faction's base. The fight didn't last long, as even with the hero faction's weapons they couldn't hold up against the firepower of Issei and the yokai faction combined. The yokai faction was extremely happy that Yasaka was back in the capital and the peace talks resumed. Yasaka rewarded Issei by creating a shrine to him and Ophis so they could be worshipped as the dragon gods. Because with like in hell where Issei had become a role model for younger kids, he had started gaining fame on Earth. A religion had formed to worship dragons, and with Issei and Ophis being the alphas, they wanted a proper shrine to worship them and dragonkind, so with the help of the yokai faction, they built a shrine for Issei and Ophis, and for the rest of dragonkind. A week after the whole thing Dracula invited everyone over for peace talks. Issei was excited to meet Dracula, since he had read the Bram Stoker novels, and wanted to know if he was like in person. Dracula turned out to be a great person, him meeting Saraz had changed for the better. Well, partly he still enjoyed fighting and much to Issei's, and everyone surprised Dracula was a huge pervert. Issei could see one reason why, Saraz she was drop dead gorgeous, pun intended, but she was a killer when pissed. A while they were there Issei and Dracula had fights for fun that left Riaz, Saraz and the others to talk. They quickly developed a friendship and they found out Saraz was pregnant. To say Saraz was happy was an understatement, she was through the roof. With everyone being away for a few weeks it allowed the mansion to be remodeled. The mansion was now ready for Issei's kids, which would be 21 kids at the least if everyone only gave birth to one child. Of course with saving her mum Kunu had fallen for Issei and with her mother's permission, moved to Kuo to be with Issei. Yasaka asked Issei to wait until she was older to do anything with her since she was only in middle school age. During the time away Rainer got her time with Issei, it surprised him at first, but Issei could see Rainer wanted this, so he let her. A week later they found out she was pregnant. Everyone was happy since during the time she had been back with Issei, they could tell something was wrong, she wasn't fully happy, and with this she became fully happy. Speaking of the school, it was being converted into the first school in the human world that would teach magic and so forth. It was Sona's idea to do it. Issei knew Sona wanted to start up her own school to teach people, and no, she got her chance. It might not have been the same way she expected it to go, but she didn't care. As the years passed, a lot of things happened in Issei's mansion. Some days you would hear crying where someone of the had stepped of Kaneko's and Kuroka's kids' cattails, making them lash out at whoever did it. Or crying when the kids didn't get treats because they were misbehaving. Laughter when Sarah's and Dracula's daughter named Claire Teeps Dracula came over to play with them. The rest of the world had prospered. With the introduction of magic, it made things a lot easier to do. Kuo Magical Academy became famous for producing the best skilled magic users. Raiding games became a famous sport where anyone could participate and win rewards for money and more. All species lived happily for the rest of time. Thanks for watching this video. If you really enjoy this video, like, subscribe, and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification. Don't forget to support the Wandering Boy for writing that awesome fanfic. See you in the next video. Goodbye.